What's going on, guys? Dwayne here with my investment journey, and I wanted to show you guys my 33rd dividend payment with AGNC Investment. And of course, it's my biggest one yet. So I'm going to log into Robinhood here. Let's do a little Face ID. Okay, so we're in my portfolio, and of course, this is live. Of course, it's after hours right now. You can see the time at the top of the screen, 6:52 p.m. Central Time in Houston. So my portfolio is doing rather well today. Actually, I was up like 7 G's. And then, of course, Apple has gone down a couple of dollars. So you can see, I'll show you guys real quickly my portfolio. So Apple today was at, what was it? At the end of the day, it was at 184, and currently it's down to 187. So that big dip right there actually all came from Apple in my portfolio. As you can see here, it went from 251 down to 248, which is fine. Okay, so we're looking at AGNC Investment, and this is my 33rd dividend payment. So I'll show you guys real quickly here. So right now, AGNC Investment is trading for $10.06. Once again, this is live in my portfolio. I currently have 827 shares. You see my average cost per share is $9.38. Now, I did use margin investing on Robinhood to bring my average cost down. As a matter of fact, at the bottom of the screen, it says buying power for AGNC is $119,000. Of course, that's money that I have available because I'm using margin investing on Robinhood. I don't actually have $119,000 in my brokerage account with Robinhood. Okay, so I basically was using that to kind of average my cost down. So as you can see real quickly here, once again, I have 827 shares, and then my average cost per share is $9.38. My total return today alone is $220. And then my total return overall is $561. Of course, that's because I've been averaging my cost down to where it is right now. So I'm going to scroll down and show you guys, once again, this is my 33rd payment with AGNC Investment. So I'll click on show more, and then I'll click on dividends just to kind of clean it up here. You can see I got the dividend payment on June 9th, $216.66. At that time, I had 1,805 shares, and they were paying 12 cents per share. Right now, I only have 805 shares. So I go back and just kind of show you guys that so you can see what I'm talking about. So right now I have 827 shares. And the reason being is because Robinhood went ahead and grabbed some shares automatically because I have dividend reinvesting turned on. So right here, if I click on the AGNC dividend for $216.66, you can see at the very bottom, it says reinvested amount. And they went ahead and grabbed 21.9 shares at $9.89 at that particular time. Once again, I really had 805 shares in my portfolio, but because of Robinhood, the DRIP dividend reinvestment plan, they went ahead and grabbed basically 21 shares, which puts me at 827 shares right now. Okay. Once again, the reason why the dividend payment was so much, it was for $216, as you can see here, is because at that particular time I had 1,805 shares. So what I did was if I click on show more, I've been spending a lot of money, my margin investing, to bring my average cost down. And I can kind of show you guys a little history here just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So you can see all these dividend payments here with AGNC Investment, right? If I go all the way back down at the very bottom, you can see my first dividend was November the 10th, 2020. Then, of course, you see another dividend here, January 2021. Of course, there's a dividend there in December 2021. So I've been getting dividend payments basically since November 2020. So if I scroll all the way up to November 2021, that's 13 dividend payments. Okay. And if I scroll all the way to November 2022, that's 26 dividend payments. You can see they're all like the same amount, $42, 42, then 43, then 43, then 43.99. And then in March of 2023, you see that I have a buy for $5,000. At that time, at the bottom of the screen, you can see I bought 505 shares, $9.89. And then I sold on March the 23rd, a day later. I sold $5,000. I didn't sell the exact amount of shares. Once again, there's 505 shares that the order was filled for at the bottom of the screen for 5,000. And the next day I sold 498 shares, right? So I basically just sold the same amount that I borrowed. I borrowed $5,000, so I sold $5,000. So I sold less shares back because at the time it was for $10.02. And when I bought it, you could see it was for $9.89. Okay. So that's why I sold back less. And so, of course, you can see there was a lot of buying and selling. Okay. So then the next time there was another buy on March the 24th for $5,000. At that time, I had 530 shares, $9.42. And then the very next day, March 24th, I sold 5,000 back. And at that time, it was 522 shares for $9.56. So I was doing that to average my cost down. Okay. Then you see on May the 9th at the top of the screen, my dividend payment was for $95.46 because I had more shares. Okay. So obviously the more shares you have, the more your dividend payment will be. Then again, you see more buying and selling. May the 23rd, 2023, I spent $9,000. I grabbed 1,000 shares for $9.08. And then, of course, you see another buy on May the 24th. I got another 500 shares for $8.86. And then, of course, the next day I sold on May 26th, not the next day, but May 26th, I sold the same 500 shares back, which got me basically $4,500. Okay, so I've been kind of buying and selling once again to bring my average cost down. So right now, even though I have 827 shares, basically, let's see how much of that. I think about 500 of those are shares that I use margin investing. And the reason why it's not a bad idea to use margin investing for this is the fact that this particular dividend yield, it says 14.71% right now in my account, as you guys can see here. And to borrow money from Robinhood, they're charging 7.75%. So as you can see, I am kind of erasing the amount that I would pay for my margin, right? The margin is 7.75 and the dividend yield on this is 10%. So that's not a bad decision as far as borrowing money with margin. And even if I just took the dividend payment that I got from the money that I borrowed just to pay back the margin that I'm using from Robinhood. So there's a lot of ways to make money in the stock market, and I'm just kind of learning and showing you guys as well. But I wanted to make this video here showing you my 33rd dividend payment with AGNC Investment. And once again, at that time, it was $216 because I had 1,805 shares. Listen, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, be sure to subscribe. I'd love to have you guys as a subscriber. And that's going to be pretty much it for this video. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.